Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Captain,
I'm Lynn.
and today we're going to be reviewing and talking about and telling you how to play the Guild of Merchant Explorers, which is a game designed by...
It is designed by Matthew Dunstan and Brett J. Gilbert.
Okay, so this game was also published by AEG, or Alderac Entertainment Group. I want to start by giving a big thank you to AEG for this review copy of the Guild of Merchant Explorers, which they gave us at Gen Con this year. After we had already tried it and knew we really liked it, so spoiler alert, if you haven't watched our Gen Con coverage, we're obviously big fans of this game. Before we get too into this, I do want to say I've got a ton of links in the description down below that you can check out at your leisure. There's a link to BoardGameCaptain.com, which is a great hub for all things Board Game Captain. There's also a link to my Teespring store, where you can get some cool Board Game Captain merch, like this t-shirt here, as well as mugs. And there is also a link to my Patreon if you're in a position to and would like to support the channel. All right, Lynn, let's start with the stats on this one. What do we got?
45 minutes.
Okay, so I prefer a range, but I would say 45 minutes is kind of long.
And
yeah.
I guess maybe if you have 4 people, but still
No, but there's no difference in length,
you're
really.
doing it all at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the thing is, because you all play simultaneously, granted, you're only as fast as the slowest player, but we generally finish this in under half an hour, I would say. I think it's, would you agree with that statement?
Yeah.
So I feel like 45 minutes is a bit long, but I would actually rather a game company give you leeway for having someone with analysis paralysis in your group like this than try to pretend like it's shorter than it is. So I'm fine with this estimate. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, what else we got?
We have 1 to 4 players.
So there is a solo mode in here, but neither of us have tried the solo version yet. But I could definitely see it being very easy to solo mode because there's almost no player interaction in this game. But we've played it at 2 and 3 players and found that because of the fact that everyone plays pretty simultaneously and the only time you actually interact is at the end to compare scores, that it plays just as well at any of the normal multiplayer player counts.
And then 14 plus.
What is your thoughts on that? It seems a little high to me.
It does.
What do you think?
Well, the boards do get progressively more difficult, but not that difficult.
And the basic board is not... this one seems kind of high to me. I would drop that down significantly, maybe like 10 and up.
Even like the goal cards, they're pretty easy to understand. You don't need to reference the rule book, oh, what does this goal card mean? It's just...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not sure why it's 14 and up. There are some things that maybe because everybody's on the honor system and everyone's got to do it themselves, you can't help each other out. Is the only thing I could think of, because you have to be able to 100% get the rules yourself.
Yeah.
Because everyone's playing it once. But even with a first-time player, you could take the time to help them out for their first few turns and really help them figure out what to do. So I feel like that's a bit of an overestimate. All right, why don't we open it up and have a look at what comes in the box when you buy a copy of the Guild of Merchant Explorers. So first thing is the rule book. Now, the rule book is incredibly well done, very easy to understand. There's the only gripe I really had with the rule book is that some of the symbology for the treasure cards in the back does not actually match the symbology they finally went with on the cards. There's a bit of a discrepancy there. Minor issue, I was able to figure it out really quickly. Other than that, this rulebook is full color, lots of diagrams and examples, and very easy to understand. I read it for the first time at Gen Con when we were at the BGG Hot Games room, got through it really quickly, and no problems there. All right, and what do we have next?
We have the maps. They're double-sided. There's 4 maps.
So when you say they're double-sided, they actually have 2 different maps, one on either side. And there's, correct me if I'm wrong, there's 4 copies each of 2 different boards, so 4 different maps.
Yes.
And there are special rules for some of the maps, so they're not just different configurations, though they are different configurations. Some of them have special stuff on it, like there's one where you collect gems.
There's the one with the gems.
There's the one with the gems, and there's one with volcanoes. Yeah, they're all a bit different. Now, these are kind of nice. They're cardstock. They're linen finish. But you had said you were wishing they were a little thicker.
Because they're floppy. And a little thicker and like maybe a little bigger, but
now if they were thicker, they would be sturdier and it would be nicer. But that would really, especially since they have to have 8 of those in the box, it would bring up the cost quite a bit, which is probably why they didn't do that. And then now this is the main board, yes?
Yes.
Mainly just a placeholder for the cards, but it's a really nice reminder to let you know like what cards are still yet to come up. It's a really great way to actually count cards. And then pretty much we've got cardboard punch out tokens. There's a bunch of these. We've got some cards. You're going to see some of these out on the table. There's a lot of different kinds of cards, lots of cardboard punch out tokens. And we have some chunky wooden bits, which are nice. Why don't you get out one of the players' chunky wooden bits? These ones, like for instance, this is a tower. These do get used when you discover the towers.
And the players have either cubes or these little towns.
So that's basically it. So now we're going to head over to the table. We're going to run you through a few turns to show you how this game plays. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how it feels and we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, so here we are set up to play a game of the Guild of Merchant Explorers. So now to set up the game, you have to choose which map you're going to play on. The game comes with 4 maps. We are using Avenia for our demonstration because this is the map that the game recommends you start with if it's your first game. You have to take out the colored pieces, cubes, and villages of your chosen color. I'll be playing red.
I'll be over here playing blue.
In addition, you take out all the components. They're a little bit off camera here, but we have coins, we have exploration, discovery towers, we have trade route tokens, and we have treasure chest tokens. You have to shuffle up the Explorer cards and place out the 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 cards. You'll see how those are used momentarily. You also have to shuffle up the treasure cards, and you have to shuffle up the investigate cards and have them near the board. Now for this game, we've taken these 6 Avenia goal cards and shuffled them up and dealt out the random 3. So, Lynn, what are our 3 goals for this game?
We have place 2 discovery towers. Explore 3 ruin spaces on the border of the map, and then discover villages on 3 different lands.
Now we'll explain these as we achieve them. Going to try to take you through probably most of the basic game here so you can really get a feel for how this plays. But without any further ado, I think we're just going to sort of jump into it because this is the sort of game that's really better to learn while watching. So we're going to just get going. So the first thing you do once you're fully set up, Lynn, having taken all of the Explorer cards and shuffled them up along with the first error card, is now going to deal up the first random Explorer card. And Lynn, what is it?
It's a mountain.
Now to start with, we can only explore out from our capital, which is in the center of our maps. It's this big city in the center of the maps. Is called the capital. Now once you start exploring, you can further explore out from your cubes that are already on the board or from villages that are also already on the board, even possibly from previous eras. But to start with, you have to explore out from the capital. So we get to place 1 cube, which is an explorer, on one of our mountains. Lynn, why don't you go first?
I'm going to put it on this mountain that will give me 1 coin.
I'm going to do the same because it seems like a no-brainer as well. Now, when you place on a space that has a coin on it, you get to take a coin from the bank. Now, the coin from the bank is going to have the number 1 on it. You're going to place it face down in your area, and it's up to your opponents to remember what you have already taken. In a normal game, we would be playing simultaneously, but for the demonstration purposes, we're going to be taking turns so you can see how we take each of our turns. Lynn, what is the next card?
It is 2 desert spaces.
Excellent. Lynn, where will you place your 2 deserts?
Oh, well, I guess I'm going to go over here and get another coin, even though that was not the direction I was going.
Unfortunately, yes, though, I will be doing the same because at the moment we're kind of, with the way the cards have come up, we're kind of pointed in that direction. So we're each going to get 1 other coin.
And then the next card is 2 of anything that must be connected. I'm going to go on this desert space and 1 water space, and I'm going to make a town.
Now, when you explore an entire region, which means an entire group of connected terrain of the same type like Lynn just did, you can replace one of the cubes with a town, but it has to be on a blank space. So it can't be a space that had a coin on it or a city on it, for instance. So Lynn has made a town on a desert space there. Now I'm going to do something similar, but I'm going to go in the other direction because I've decided I'm going to explore these two mountain spaces over here, and I'm going to make a town on one of those mountain spaces. Now, for coinage for placing towns, you get coins based on the era you're in. In era 1, it's 1 coin. In era 2, 2 coins. In era 3, 3 coins. In era 4, 4 coins. So we get 1 coin for our towns in era 1, which means we each got a coin there, though now we're actually doing something significantly different than one another.
Okay, and the next one is Era 1 card.
The first time each of the era cards comes up, you're going to draw 2 of the investigate cards here, and you're going to choose one of them to place next to your board during the, by the era 1 symbol here. The other one will be placed on the bottom of the deck. Once you have chose your card, you're going to play it in this area and you're going to do its ability. In future eras, the era 1 card, when it comes up, it will just let you reuse the card you have chosen. Okay, now that we've chosen our cards, I'm going to let Lynn go first and explain what her card does and show you on the board.
So my card says to explore 1 grassland space, then explore up to 3 spaces connected to this grassland space in a straight line. So I'm going to explore this grassland space right here, and then I'm going to explore in a straight line all the way to there and make a trade route.
Now explain how trade routes work.
Trade routes, when you connect 2 city spaces, you times their numbers, and that is how many coins you get for that trade.
So the multiplication is 3 times...
3 times 2.
So Lynn will get 6 coins for that trade route, but then she has to cover one of the spaces with a trade route token, and that space may no longer be used as part of a trade route at any point during this game.
I'm going to cover...
You're covering the more valuable space. Interesting. Guess you weren't planning on using that one again. Now, my card says I can explore up to 4 C spaces, and then I will draw an additional treasure card for each ruined space I explore while exploring said C spaces. So I'm going to explore out from here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is a ruined space that is on the water. I will definitely get to explore it, which means I put a treasure token underneath it, which is a little treasure chest, and then I'm going to get to draw a treasure card. However, since I used my specific card for it, I get to draw 2 treasure cards. Now, treasure cards can be all sorts of interesting different things. So to show you as an example, I drew 2 treasure cards. This one here allows me to place an additional cube immediately, and then I discard it. So I'm going to be putting that back on the bottom of the treasure deck over here. And for my additional cube, I've decided I'm going to explore this other treasure space that is right here adjacent to me. Now, because I used the special card to do it and not my my exploration card here, I'm only going to get 1 more treasure card for that one, which I'll get in one moment. I'm just going to pull it off the top of the deck and put it on the side. And the second treasure I got here is one I would save for the end of the game. This one says I would get 1 coin for every village I put on a mountain space. So this could be very valuable if I get lots of villages later. Now, this is normally kept a secret. I've only showed you because we're doing a tutorial game, but normally Lynn would not know I have that. In addition, my extra card I got, because I got to explore another treasure space there, another ruined space, is I got the same thing, but for villages placed on grassland spaces.
The next card is 3 water in a row.
Indeed. All that's left is the 2 grasslands.
I'm going to go there and get a ruin. So, I mean, explore a ruin, so I'm going to get a treasure.
And what does your treasure do?
So this is any 2 villages on any type of terrain get me a coin.
I'm just going to throw down my 3 cubes. It doesn't really matter because, unfortunately, there's nothing I can really do with the last card, which is the 2 grasslands card. I'm not going to be able to get really anything with it, except a coin is really it. So, Lynn, why don't you deal it up?
2 grasslands.
And what are you going to do with yours?
Well, they don't need to be connected. So, I'm going to get 3 coins by putting 1 there and 1 there.
Oh, well done. Now, I'm unfortunately really not in a good spot to get much of anything here, so I'm just going to get 1 coin by placing there. It's a little something, and you know, coins are points for the end of the game, so that is good. So now that we have completed all of the turns in round one, we're going to remove all of our cubes from the board. But things like villages and the little treasure chest tokens and trade route tokens all do stay on the board. None of those are removed. And then when we shuffle up the cards for the next round, Lynn is not going to just take the Era 1 card and shuffle, and she's also going to take the Era 2 card and shuffle. And when the Era 1 card comes up, we're going to get to use our Era 1 cards that we've already chosen. When the Era 2 card comes up, we're going to get to choose a new Era 2 card.
Okay, so first up is 2 deserts.
Okay. So you just refilled your area over there. I'm going to go over there too. I think I'm probably going to actually get a village over there this time. So there seems like there's more of a point for me to do it than there was for you.
Yeah, there's just nothing else I could do.
Yeah, fair enough. Got to get some more villages out.
So the next one is the 3 water in a row.
Now remember, you can build from villages you built in previous rounds, but so far Lynn and I only had 1 village each, which did put us in not the best situation to be able to do a lot of that.
I am going to go just this way.
Okay, I'm going to connect over here to connect to this land over here.
And the next one is 2 of anything.
2 of anything, very nice.
I think I'm gonna explore this ruin.
Okay.
And I am also going to go on this mountain space and get a coin.
Okay, and then what do you get for your ruin? Again, we would normally keep this a secret, but for demonstration purposes.
For every town on a grassland, I get a coin.
Very nice. I'm going to explore 2 mountain spaces over here that are adjacent to the cubes I've already placed, which gets me 2 coins for exploring on said mountain spaces. Because there's one here that has 2 coins on it on the map.
Next up is 1 mountain space.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to go where this mountain space has 2 coins.
Very nice. I'm going to explore the last mountain space in this area, and that gets me another village, which again has to be placed on a blank space, so I couldn't place it where those coins were, for instance. And now that this is Era 2, that is worth 2 coins. So I've got 3 single coins here. I'm going to trade them in for a 5er from the bank and add it to my stockpile.
Next up is the Era 1 card. And I was waiting for that. I had a plan.
Oh, did you?
It's like the only time I had a plan.
Oh, very good then.
So I can explore 1 grassland space and then explore up to 3 connected spaces in a straight line. So I'm going to fill up this entire place and get a town and 2 coins from the land. And
then also 2 coins from the town.
Yes. And then I will also have a town farther
yes.
out.
Yes, which is what I had just done last turn with my with mine on the mountains. Now for mine, my Era 1 card is the 4 water spaces, and if I explore any ruins, I get an extra treasure. There is 1 ruin that is in range for me to explore and get the double treasure. It is up here. I'm going to cover that ruin. I will get a little treasure chest I'm going to place on it, and again, I will get 2 ruin cards. Now for my 2 ruin cards, one of them is 2 coins, which means I get 2 coins immediately, and I get rid of the card. I'm going to put it on the bottom of the deck. And the other one is one of these cards that lets me immediately place 1 more cube on any type of terrain. For my extra cube, I'm going to put it on this desert space here, because doing a little bit of card counting. There is the 2 grasslands coming up, which I have something in mind for on my map, and there is also the Era 2 card, which is going to get me something special, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to do something with it over here in the desert region, but we'll see what happens.
First up is the 2.
Oh, we're about to find out, so I'm going to draw my 2, Lynn's going to draw her 2, and whoa, this worked out like gangbusters for me.
So mine says explore up to 4 sea spaces, then explore any number of city spaces adjacent to these sea spaces.
Oh, are you going to be able to get a trade route?
I am. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I can explore both of these city spaces and explore a ruin and get a trade route between them.
And what does the trade route get you?
The trade route would get me 9. It's 3 times 3.
All right, so get your 9 and go ahead and put a trade route token on one of those that you don't want to have to use again.
I'm going to put a trade route there.
And then you also get to take a treasure, so go ahead and draw your treasure card.
It is every mountain town gets a coin.
Well, we've been getting a lot of those this game. Okay, so for mine, I got this one that lets me explore a desert space and then explore up to 5 spaces adjacent to that desert space, which is perfect for where I was and what I want to do, because I'm going to explore this desert space and then I'm going to explore the 5 spaces around it. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which does a lot of things for me. First off, I get a coin for that mountain space that I covered. Second off, I get to place a village because I filled up that entire desert region. So I'm going to place a village right here in the middle of that desert region. And third off, I did cover 1 city space, which means I could possibly be able to also get a trade route going if I were able to cover another city space like Lynn has been doing.
Okay, and the last card is the 2 grasslands. I am going to put 1 here from my starting city and 1 over here just to get 2 coins.
Very good. Now for mine, I'm going to place 1 here, and then I'm going to place 1 on the discovery space. The discovery spaces are wild. You can place with any kind of card that says to place on any type of terrain. You can place on a discovery space, and then you get to place a discovery tower on it. Now the first discovery tower you place on any map is worth 6 coins. And then the second discovery tower you place is worth 8, then 10, then 14. There's always 4 towers on every map. And there you have it. Now that the round is over, again, we would remove all the cubes from the board. We would shuffle up all the cards, and we would add in the 1, 2, and 3 era cards. Now on the 4th era, you add in the 1/2/3 card, and when you draw that one, you're able to use one of your era cards of your choice a second time that round. Now, in regard to the gold cards, which you didn't really get to show, but we were getting close to some of them, the first time someone achieves one of them, and let's say place 2 discovery towers, because I was getting close to that. I had a discovery tower here and I had a village over here very close to this other discovery tower. If I got to place another discovery tower over here, let's say, then I would get to achieve that goal first. And I would place one of my cubes on the 10 coin spot, and I would get the 10 coin reward. In the future, if Lynn or other people, if we were playing with more than 2 players, were to achieve it, they would only get 5 coins, and they would put their cube on the lower spot, and that's how the goal cards work. So that is how you play a game of the Guild of Merchant Explorers. So let's head back over. We're going to talk about how this game plays and feels, and we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, welcome back. So that was how you play a game of the Guild of Merchant Explorers. So as you can see, it's a big old cube pusher. It's a Euro game. You do some path building, a little bit of kind of like area control, but it's all done on your own.
Yeah, it's your own area.
Because there's no...
You're just making paths from point A to point B to get
to cover certain...
to get farther and farther away from your starting point.
Right. And eventually, if you control a whole area, you get to put a village down, which lets you start in a further away space on a later round. And you're trying to be able to cover certain areas to get objectives and get points. It's all about getting the points. It's a bit of a point salad. But that said, this game is very elegant and very well done. Would you? I know you would agree with that statement. Yeah. So, all right, let's start with negatives. Do you have any negatives? And I'm suspecting you don't, because even though the camera's on, you're acting all hipster. You've been raving about this game. Do you have any negatives for the Guild of Merchant Explorers? Oh, actually, I do know you have one.
Well, it's just the component sizes. I think the the board is a little small, and
Okay.
also like I really hate like baby elf cards. Like there's literally no reason for those cards not to be like regular
All
card
right,
size.
so small gripe on components. You had said before you wish there were thicker cardboard for the maps. You would like larger maps and larger pieces, and you would like not to have any of the tiny cards.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's fair. I can see your gripe, but I also can see that, especially with how production and shipping costs have been going up, it's really important for game companies to try to keep the costs down on things, and I can see why they wouldn't want to do those things because that would make it more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So I can also see why they made the production decisions they did. So I don't think it's that big a deal. Is that really like a big gripe for you?
No, it's just slightly annoying. It doesn't
Okay.
impact my enjoyment of the game,
Okay.
unless I'm having to shuffle those baby elf cards, and then it impacts my enjoyment for like those like 2 seconds.
I had mentioned briefly in the intro that I had a minor gripe with the fact that some of the symbols in the rulebook did not match up with the final symbols in the game when going over some of the cards. It was a minor issue. I was able to get past it really quickly, but otherwise, I don't really have any big gripes with this game. This is a really great game. At the time of filming this, we just got back from Gen Con like a week and a half ago, and no joke, we've played this game more than 4 times since we got back from the convention, and we had played it already at the convention. So this game's been hitting the table a bunch, an absolute bunch for us. And I don't really have any big glaring negatives. Did you have any others?
No.
Okay, so we're going to get right into positives. I'll let you start because you've been very vocal about liking this game a lot. Give us your first positive, Lynn, for the Guild of
Um,
Merchant Explorers.
I don't know why, but there's just something very satisfying about putting cubes in little spaces and making a line.
The
I
root
don't
building
know.
is very satisfying. I agree with you.
I don't know why.
It's just one of those things where you can totally visualize and easily track your progress. You see, look, I have done a thing. I have filled this area and I get to put a village here now. I have accomplished something. And then you see it happen in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an incredibly satisfying thing. And I'm with you on that, actually. I do really like it. I'm going to say one of the things I really enjoy is I love how easy it helps you to keep track of the cards and do some card counting. The thing is, you only have a handful of basic cards plus the Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, and then the 1, 2, 3 card, which slowly get added to the deck. So the thing is, as you watch, you can be like, okay, that's already come up. That's already come up. I want to do this thing. Which cards could help me do it? Oh, the two grassland cards could help me do this thing, or the two of anything card, and neither one has come up yet. So you know what? I'm going to save the two of anything for this other area, and I'm going to wait for the two grassland cards to do this thing. And you can plan ahead. And I really like that ability. Like it really is, in my opinion, for card counting and planning ahead, it feels very entry level in that regard. It
Mm-hmm.
feels like it's a game that helps to train you on how to do that for more complicated games. And I love that. I think it's really great for that. Your turn. What's another big positive for you?
I like the variety in the maps where
Mm.
they have the really easy map, and then they have the maps where it's more difficult to get
Mhm.
around, and
Well, because like the volcanoes block movement,
yeah.
and so do
And then
the
there's the
reefs.
reefs, and then there's
There's also the gems are totally
yeah,
different.
they add more. I think that's the only one where something is added.
Mhm.
The gems is the fourth one.
But then also each map, in addition to being physically layout different, and this is going to be my big plus, each map has its own set of objective cards,
Mm-hmm.
which at the beginning of playing each map, you grab the 6 objective cards, shuffle them up, and deal 3 out. And it makes each of the maps feel really different and unique because they have their own set of objectives, but it also makes each time you play that map a little different because you get a different combination of objectives, which makes this game incredibly replayable, in my opinion. I think the replayability is really high. So that was my big plus there.
Mm-hmm.
Any other big pluses you want to throw out?
I like that you get to almost make your own little cards. Like I don't know how to explain it. When you get the 1, 2, and 3 cards, you kind of
Oh,
get to choose like your specialization almost.
it's like a bit of engine
Or
building
like
almost.
it's either
Yeah.
like you can like specialize in something,
Yes.
or you could like have a variety and do different things.
That's another thing that also makes the game incredibly replayable is that getting different abilities for your Arrow 1 card, your Arrow 2 card, and your Arrow 3 card really changes it up. And I've never yet had the same combination of cards.
Because I think if it didn't do that, it would get kind of boring and samey, even if everything else was the same. You know, even if they had different maps and so they added stuff to the one map, it would still be like, oh, it's just these 5 cards.
But it gets because of those error cards. The error cards really do mix it up. They really do make each game feel unique. I'm totally with you on that. Yeah, they're really, really great. I'm going to throw out that this a great thing about this is an easy to teach. I do think that they overestimated their age recommendation, 14, because I feel like this is for heavier Euro games. This is kind of like an entry level, because it feels more like a middleweight game to me. It feels like an entry level though to bring you up to heavier weight Euro games. So if you're playing with like 10, 11, 12-year-olds that are in houses that play games but haven't really tried heavier Euro games, this is a great way to try to slowly break them into the heavier Euro game style. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any more for you?
I don't think so. I mean, I mean.
We already did a lot of positives.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's just I like that I can just completely ignore everyone else playing the game.
And I was gonna say that's gonna be a very divisive thing for some people. Some people love those Euro style games where there's almost no player interaction. Lynn absolutely adores those. I like them as well, though I do also like games with a lot of player interaction. Some people only like games with a lot of player interaction, are very turned off by games like this that have very little to no player interaction. So I think that's going to be a big deciding factor on whether or not you would like this game. If you like games with little to no player interaction, where you just sit around the table and it's almost like you're all playing your own solitaire games, this game is going to be for you. But if you hate that style of game, probably going to want to avoid it. That said, we talked about a lot of positives because Lynn and I obviously really like this game. I'm going to insist on going first because even though I have a really high score for this game, I am thinking Lynn is going to be even higher than me. Because now, again, Lynn always plays it cool when she's on camera, but she's been kind of like asking to play this game constantly. So I know you're going to be ludicrously high. In fact, I have a guess as to what your rating is.
I'm going to change my rating now.
No, you better not. Okay, so I'm going to give the Guild of Merchant Explorers 9 out of 10 stars. I absolutely adore this game. I have played every map so far at this point. We've played every map. They're all great. They're all different. Like we said, the variation on abilities, the variation on the maps themselves, and the variation on the goals have kept each one feeling different, unique, and really, really kept the replayability high. This is definitely going to go up there into one of my favorite Euro games. Absolutely adore this. 9 out of 10 stars. Would definitely recommend if you're into Euro style board games.
I'm going to give it a 2 now.
That's not believable at all.
No, I'm going to give it a 10.
I suspected you were going to go perfect 10 out of 10 because you've been absolutely adoring this game. Now, 9 is incredibly high, but 10, that is ludicrously rarefied air for you. You do not give many games 10s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it just total fun factor?
Yeah, I don't know. It just, it clicked with me. Where it's just, just love it. I just like playing it.
Yeah. So, well, you love playing it if you're giving it a 10.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Fine, I love this game. Okay, so 10 out of 10 stars. So this is throw a thumb up there for me. This is a 2 thumbs way up review for us. Way up there. We both really enjoyed this game a lot. In fact, we both love this game. 9 and 10 stars is an incredibly high rating. This is probably one of the most enthusiastically agreed upon games that Lynn and I have reviewed in a while because of how much we both really enjoyed this game. So yeah, if anything we talked about sounds interesting or cool to you, we would definitely recommend you check out the Guild of Merchant Explorers from AEG. This game is really good. All right, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see us do more like it, be sure to give it a like. Share it on all forms of social media. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And be sure to comment down below if you have any questions, comments, or concerns either on this video or on the game of the Guild of Merchant Explorers. And until next time, game on.